Good morning, everybody. Today we'll be doing today is the memorial service, monthly memorial, so we'll be doing the Nembutsu and then the Junirai, Shoshinge and the Junirai Fushi with the Wasan and then Nembutsu and then Ekomon and the Ondokusan style. And so there will be, let's see, the Wasan and the Nembutsu will be kind of in a song form, so it'll be a little bit different from what we normally do. So I will try to get you the printout for that in the future, but we don't have that currently on any of the books or anything like that. Okay. All right, we'll get started soon. Thank you.
上界、往診如来如実言のつ一年気愛心、普段本の特年藩、本上逆本三へ入、要修死入会一味、摂取信仰上昇後、意の水波無明湾、本内心臓心運無、上部真実新人天、二尿二国運無、運無資源妙無安、逆真剣兄弟行儀、即王超絶望悪臭、一切全幕本部に、門心如来偶税願、仏言広大小下者、善人妙分大理系、皆仏本願念仏者見教満なく修上、信行十字寺に南中市南昔、インド祭典市論下、中華自治騎士構想、現代小構成小位、妙如来音税要記、釈迦如来ヨガ線、一種五妙南天寺、90代自主統制、質の財派有無権、先絶大乗無情報、召喚議事小安楽、賢治南行六六、新行異行指導ら、北年皆仏本願、次年即時入一上、唯の上昇如来語、大大偶税音、天神菩薩増論説、奇妙無下公如来、永衆たら見真実、光線の町内誓願、公有本願力へ公、井戸群上昇維新、記入空読大妖怪、いつ逆入大へ収集、特使連下造世界、即昇進如法精進、有本の人間人図、入所時恩寺王下、恩師論南両天使、上古蘭小菩薩来、三蔵ルシ十上教、凡上専業気楽王、天神菩薩論中下、報道因果見世願、能言猫ゆなり、少女死因由新人、惑前本部新人法、承知生じ即年半、日誌無量光明道、小雨修上海部系、同社結晶道南省、唯名浄土活 小寿今後新教期一年総合用意大道逆三人即小小子上ら原神公開一大教延期安養官日祭先祖出身安先人法家二の正面流牧獣悪人有小物が薬剤非摂取中煩悩証言水部権大非部権上昇が本資源空明仏教連民全幕本部人新宗教商工編集戦弱音願具悪性現内生じ輪年芸形地義上位少子即入弱上部以来一新人異の入具兄弟自主死道上祭無縁極上悪同族自主愚道心唯化心高創生実法未尽世界の念仏の主情みそなまし摂取して捨てざれば阿弥陀と名付けたてまつる煩悩にまなこさえられ
Morning. Just need a second to get set up here. I'd like to read the following passage, which is a little bit long, but it's written by Shinran Shonin, and it is recorded in one of his letters, and it has been translated, and it reads as follows. I'm truly sad to hear about Kakunembo. I had expected that I would go first to the Pure Land, but I've been left behind. It is unutterably saddening. Kakushinbo, who left us last year, has certainly gone to the Pure Land and is awaiting us there. Needless to say, I will surely meet them there. It is beyond words. Kakunenbo's words do not differ at all from what I have said, so we will certainly go to the same place, the Pure Land. If I am still alive in the 10th month of next year, it will undoubtedly be possible to meet again in this world. Since your mind of entrusting also does not differ at all from my own, even if I go first, I will await you in the Pure Land. End quote. This is by Shinran Shonin. So Shinran is writing this letter to his one of his Dharma friends, and he, is recalling about past Dharma friends who have passed away, and so he is saying that the person that has gone first is waiting for me in the Pure Land, and then if I were to go to first before you, I will await you in the Pure Land. This is the expression that is given. It's a very it's a letter that I find to be very comforting, and it's a letter that I truly appreciate, and it's something that moves me to this day. So one of the things that I wanted to point out today is that
we shouldn't be afraid or wary, I should say, or afraid of using the expression, I will see you in the Pure Land. I know this is a point of discussion, and there's a lot of explanations, a lot of commentary, a lot of questions that surround this. But as Jodo Shinshu ministers, I remember I was told distinctly by my teacher, Tokunaga Sensei. He said, if one of the older members of the Sangha asks you, I'm going to go to the Pure Land, right? Will I go to the Pure Land? As a minister, you have to say to them, yes, you will go to the Pure Land. And if you can't say that with confidence, you have no business being a minister. And he distinctly told me this, right? Okay, I'm paraphrasing here, and I'm putting it from Japanese to English too, but that's what he told me. He said that you need to be very firm, and you need to be able to say this confidently, with a straight face, with all earnestness and honesty, that the person is going to the Pure Land. And if you don't believe this, how can you tell other people this, right? So you have to come to that understanding that you are going to go to the Pure Land and be able to share that message to other people. And that's what it is to be a Jodo Shinshu minister. So be ready for that, is what he told me. So I know that there's a lot of discussion about, these questions, like, where is the Pure Land? Is it really indeed the Western land of paradise? Is it a physical place? How is it different from, say, a heaven, right? Or a place of bliss, right? The short answer to all these questions is that the Pure Land transcends diametrically opposed entities. Okay, so it transcends pleasure and pain. Okay? It transcends heaven and hell. Because when you talk about heaven, you're talking about, you're presupposing that there is going to be that hell, right? That relativistic way of speaking is one in which you cannot talk about heaven without talking about a hell, right? And the Pure Land transcends this heaven and hell. And so the Pure Land is also the non-dual or non-discriminative wisdom that we like to call. But let's leave that philosophical explanation aside. We have to, I think we have to be able to familiarize ourselves as members and also as ministers. Familiarize ourselves with the phrase, I will see you in the Pure Land. I will see my loved ones in the Pure Land. Okay. And these are phrases that were used normally and commonly in Japan throughout the time immemorial, and it's something that we get hung up on a little bit because of the kind of our Judeo-Christian brothers and sisters who have we live in a society in which it is being discussed that way, right? And Buddhism, then when Buddhism comes into the fold, we feel this, I think, this urge to want to set ourselves apart and to make ourselves distinct from these other traditions, right? But I don't know what to say. We can't. It's not like the Judeo-Christian traditions can, have a monopoly over these words, right? And it's not like we should shy away from our tradition. We should say what our tradition is. You will go to the Pure Land when you pass away, right? And that's what this tradition is about. And there's no beating around the bush. There's no trying to cushion it or sugarcoat it or put it in a way that's a little bit more palatable for the American or context. We should just say it straight way, right? Straight way. You're going to the Pure Land, right? All beings are going to go to the Pure Land. That is what is stipulated in the 18th vow, which is the foundation of this entire tradition. And that's what this understanding is. And we shouldn't be apologetic. We shouldn't be sorry about this. That is what our tradition is, okay? And then we should be confident and we should be proud of the fact that and happy of the fact that we have a teaching that shows us this, right? So let me give you an example of why we should be expressing it in this way, or not should be, but why it would be beneficial for us to explain it in this way. One of my colleagues, Natalie Cooley, who works here at IBS, and she could, if she sees this, she can correct me if I'm wrong in our discussion. But she had, we got onto the subject about sometimes, in our tradition in Joshinshu, in Buddhism, we kind of overcomplicate things and make them these sophisticated. We try to have these sophisticated explanations, sophisticated delineations of the Pure Land, right? And what that means, this non-dual reality and emptiness and this non-discriminative wisdom and these kinds of things. And we tend to complicate things and explain things in a very difficult way. Well, Natalie is working on this book, which has different entries about chaplaincy. And one, I like to talk about one such case in which this lady from Japan kind of suffered from the Great East Earthquake. On March 11th, 2011, I believe, is when it occurred, when the Fukushima nuclear power plants were kind of compromised. But during that day, thousands of people died. I think it was, I forget the number, but anyway, it was, to this day, when I think of Japan and how modern of a society it is, and how many people died in this natural disaster, I just can't wrap my head around that number. It is absolutely mind-boggling. So a lot of people died that day, and it's very traumatic, obviously. And this one woman was explaining that this explanation of the Pure Land being this very difficult, sophisticated philosophical explanation did absolutely nothing for her, and she finds great comfort in the straight explanation of the Pure Land, because her question is not, I want a philosophical discussion about what the Pure Land is and where it is and et cetera, et cetera. I want to know, is my family going to be okay? Is my family, my loved ones who have gone away from this world, are they okay? Right? And the answer to that is yes, they are okay. They are in the Pure Land, right? And that is the explanation that gave her comfort, a straight, no BS answer that was straight to the point. Is my family going to be okay? And she found great comfort in that. And that was a story that Natalie Sensei has explained to me, which gives me even more joy and comfort in knowing we don't need to have these difficult explanations. It's difficult. There's a time and place for that. Don't get me wrong, there's a time and place for that. In intellectual circles or in the academia or in school, but in the end, it comes down to how is it that the lay is appreciating this? How is it that I'm appreciating this as a human being, right? And I appreciate this in knowing that my loved ones are in the Pure Land, in knowing that when I pass away, I will go to the world of absolute truth. Right? I will go to the world of the principle of wisdom and compassion. So the Pure Land, in short, is this dynamic working of wisdom and compassion. Okay, we call it the Pure Land. It's almost as if to say the Pure Land as this fixated thing is like you have a film, right? And one capture of that moment, right? Of this movement that is happening, one capture, one still image of that is that of the Pure Land. Okay, but we should think of the Pure Land as a dynamic working of wisdom and compassion. So it can be explained in both this static way, this static fixated Western Pure Land of place, right, where there's no suffering. But it's also explained as this moving dynamic reality of wisdom and compassion. this glimpse and capture of the still moment is that of the Pure Land. And that's what we're calling it, right? So, but we're actually really calling this entire movement, the dynamic reality of wisdom and compassion, the Pure Land. Okay. And so that's why it makes sense. It makes sense in my head. But then again, I'm kind of weird. But if it, that's how we can understand it as ministers, in the back of our minds, or as students when we're studying Pure Land Buddhism or Jodo Shinshu Buddhism academically. But when we're explaining it to people, right, we should be able to have the firm conviction and the firm confidence to be able to explain that the Pure Land is a place of no suffering, that is the world of absolute truth that all beings will return to. Okay, so with that, I'd like to close today with the reading of the Kobunsho, Shonin Ichiri no Sho, which will be in Japanese. Shonin ichiryu no gokanke no omomuki wa shinjin no motte hon to serare sono. そのゆえは、諸々の造業を投げ捨てて、一心に皆に奇妙をすれば、不可思議の眼力として、仏の方より往生は事情をせしめたも。そのくらいを一年発起入賞状始終とも釈し、その上の称名念仏如来我が往生を定めたまいし、ご恩法人の念仏と心きなり、あなかしほ、あなかしほ。あな、なわな、なまなさわなす。なまな、なまな、なまな、なす。Thank you very much for this morning's service, which is the Gomenichi, or the monthly memorial service for Shinran Shoni, which will take place on every month on the 16th. Let's see, is there anything? Today's kind of the chanting of today was kind of handpicked. I selected different things, and it's not necessarily the case that we chant Shoshinge in this way every month. I think the honzan has a system that they figure out, but I kind of just go with what I'm comfortable with and what I can chant, and I've chanted this before, so I feel like I can do this. So that's why we did this chant for today. But normally in the Gomenichi, I think it is the Shoshinge and the Gyofu style, but it is not just on Shinran's memorial service, but there's other 7 Pure Land masters, if Shotoku Taishi, also Prince Shotoku, or other head ministers of the Honganji, on their memorial service day, we will also do the Gyofu style with the Wasan. And so there's different variations that take place. Also, to keep in mind at headquarters, what they do before they even do the Shoshinge is they are at the Amida Hall. And at the Amida Hall, they do typically the Sambutsuge, but sometimes I've seen the Amida Kyo done in the Chinese reading style. So it's read a little bit differently from the way it normally is in the Amida Kyo, but I've seen that version as well. Being chanted at the Amida Hall. So the Sambutsuge or the Amida Kyo is done there. And then they move on over to the Founders Hall where they do the Shoshinge and the Wasan. Again, those services are done daily at 6 a.m. If you ever get a chance to go to them, I certainly recommend doing so because it's a very beautiful ritual, and it really starts off the day in a wonderful way. And so if in the wintertime, 6 a.m. can get pretty darn cold. It might be good to sometimes take a blanket or something like that, or mittens at least, so that you don't freeze to death out there, because there is no AC or there is no heating system either in the Hondo. And then in the summertime, it gets pretty hot too, already at 6 a.m. So that's also another thing to keep in mind. The weather is very distinct and very clear in Japan. Okay, so just a short little explanation of the rituals of that what takes place at honzan, or headquarters. Honzan is what we call headquarters in Kyoto, Japan. So I'm trying to kind of follow their schedule, maybe not to the T, but as much as possible, I do try to follow their schedule, and try to kind of show, in solidarity, right? That we are adjusting with our mother temple and our fellow brothers and sisters, our fellow Dharma practitioners over in Japan. Okay, so with that, I'd like to end today. Thank you very much for your time.